when I was growing up, I had this backpack that had like a bunch of patches and pins on it. Well, in middle school, it was just patches, and I had sewn like all my favorite bands into this backpack.
Who
And
are
so
the
I was walking
bands?
around, like it was like Led Zeppelin, Boston, Journey.
Dang,
Trying to think, I think I had both.
you were a cool
Yeah.
kid.
Oh, I was raised up. I was raised up on 80s. I remember in the third grade, we were in music class when that was still a thing. I don't know if it's still a thing in public schools anymore, but
Honestly, probably not. No funding.
yeah, it's sad. But we were sitting in music class and we were listening to, I don't know what the activity was, but I Got a Feeling by the Black Eyed Peas came on. And,
Iconic.
everybody's singing, dancing to it. And I was like, I have no clue what these words are. I got a
Tonight's the
feeling.
night.
And so I came, yeah, exactly. And so or my mom picked me up from school and I'm just bawling. And I'm not talking. And she says, Chase, are you okay? And I was just silent. And she was like, Chase, like, talk to me. Are you okay? And I was like, you never play the radio. we only listen to your cassette tapes, which I am so happy that I was raised on that because I feel like that's such a huge part of me. Like those pop melodies, like ABBA meets like the craziness of like Journey or Boston. Like that's totally my vibe.
Yeah, of
But it's
course.
funny because I just was so brainwashed, which I'm so happy I was by, like cassette tapes and actual, like 70s and 80s, which is awesome. Um, yeah, but back to the pins. So, I was in middle school. I had this backpack full of patches. And as I grew up into high school, I started really liking pins. You can see I have a pin on my hat right here.
Oh shit.
This is actually the Bush Beans dog. And so, yeah, I really like pins. And I had always thought to myself, dang, like one day I would love a pin of my own or a patch of my own, of my own artist project.
Yeah.
And so when all this stuff started taking off on TikTok, I thought to myself, I always knew I wanted to have something super cohesive, like everything would live in its own universe for my stuff. Um, and so I started sketching out like these little pins, and I was like, I would love for each song to have their own unique pin. And in my mind, real was, it's kind of romantic-y, like, oh, love at first sight kind of vibes. And I was like, I totally imagine like a dance floor, like a disco ball, kind of 60s retro. And so we started running with it and we put out on Instagram, hey, is there any 3D artists that would be passionate about this? And this guy named Prob from San Francisco reached out and he is so talented. It was such a pleasure working with this guy. And so, revision after revision, we finally got the pin to look like the pin we wanted. And what was cool is we placed that pin like it had fallen out of a car, which that's a whole other thing. But it's on the PCH, which is the highway that runs along the ocean here,
So
which is
this is
where
a
I met.
real pin, correct? It's not like a digital
This
mock-up
is
of a pin.
3D. No,
Oh,
this is full 3D.
wow.
So
Okay.
the album cover is a render. Um,
Oh,
Yeah, and that's crazy is because the pin's actually sitting along the ocean side in California on the PCH, and that's where I met these guys for the first time that I'm putting them working with here, and like it was really special to me. And so it's on the ocean in California, and it's this pin. And so what's cool is that every song is going to have its own unique pin, and then it's placed in a location that means a lot to the song.
oh.
So, for example, the next song that's coming out is called "I Don't Want to Be Alone," and it is written at a party where I was all bummed out that this girl wasn't into me that I thought she was. And so I was sad drunk and I'm sitting in this empty pool and I'm just like staring up at the stars in this empty pool. And that's what the song is about. It's very literal. Like it talks about the situation. It's pretty funny. And my idea for the pin for that is it's going to be like the pin in the empty pool. So
Cool.
you'll start to see all these different landscapes throughout the covers. And then, when the EP comes out, it will be all very cohesive. And, the music video has also introduced these pins as well. So you'll figure out why they're in these locations. But it's just fun. But
I think that's a genius idea. I mean, just
thank you.
in terms of getting people invested, one, you're really like being your authentic self with your work, but also you're creating so much more than just your music for your fans to really dig. Like that, you're really creating like a world for your fans to exist in, which is huge for actually like retaining your fans going forward.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
And then who knows, that'll translate to some merch.
Yeah,
Really make some cash.
soft enamel pins are not the cheapest things to make, but
Yeah.
I think if we do it in bulk, once we have people caring about it, I would be happy to do that. And
Yeah,
I'm
you
so
can sell them
excited to
at
put them on my
shows.
backpack.